Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Channel 8 News. It is currently 8 o'clock, which segues us to our new segment, Past and Present. We have a special treat for you. Live from Paris and Barcelona, we have two famous painters brought back from the dead, Jacques Louis David and Diego Rivera. We will be discussing their art based on the political and social conditions at their times, themes in their art, and effects of their art on those who view it. Okay, let's meet our guests. Hola.
Bonjour.
Looks like the feed is good. Welcome to the show. Jacques, let's start with you. In many of your paintings you include themes. What were these themes?
Well, the themes I used were self-sacrifice and power. Power between the current rulers and the revolutionaries. And self-sacrifice for the better good. I painted Marat as weak, but he still put effort into his writing, even on his deathbed. Using this image, I wanted to tell the revolutionaries that even though you might get hurt physically or mentally, you shouldn't give up. Depicting Marat using his final moments to write another document in the painting helped show this idea of not giving up. In the lictors bring Brutus the bodies of his sons, I showed self-sacrifice by painting Brutus killing his sons since they were married to daughters of the enemy. This also showed loyalty since he stayed true to the cause, even though he had to kill his own flesh and blood to do so.
Fascinating. Could you tell us more details about this painting? Like, what messages were you trying to show in it?
Well, when I created this painting, it was the time of the French Revolution. My goal was to show this revolution was a tough time for us. There were many violent riots and protests. The reason I painted Jean-Paul Marat was because he was a comrade of mine during the revolution. He was a great journalist and a hell of a radical, but he was most known for rallying people for revolt. After poor Jean was murdered, bless his soul, I decided to paint my fellow friend in his honor and make sure the people of the world knew this was an important political statement that demonstrated the violence that took place during the revolution.
What a tragic story. It's wonderful that you were able to honor your friend and spread his message through your art. Diego, I'm really sorry that I have to bring this up, but it's been said that you're a die-hard communist. My father was a liberal, so the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Marx's communistic ideals were pleasant to me because I related to the working class of Russia during the Russian Revolution. When I lived in Mexico, it was during and after the Mexican Revolution, which came with much struggle for the working class. People are biased to criticize my work because of this. My mural at the DIA was called un-American, vulgar, even blasphemy. I believe it got such reviews since I added laborers and it started alarms. Oh no, communism, really, come on. What I was trying to show was that there are changes in labor and the advances in technology and medicine. Basically, my thesis in the DIA mural was that all changes are one. Wow. The mural is beautiful, by the way. Diego, I've noticed that most of your art is in the form of murals. Why exactly are you so into murals? Back in my early years, I was in a government-led group to paint murals. This was right after the Mexican Revolution, and the government had us paint them since they had social and political undertones. These undertones were supposed to reunify Mexico since we just got a revolution and we just gained independence from Spain. I guess I really liked murals after that, and I just stuck to them. Also, I prefer murals because it's in the public and anyone can come see it for free. I guess it goes back to my belief in helping out the working class. What are the themes in your murals apart from the ones you were commissioned to do by your government? It's mostly Mexican culture and history along with some undertones of communistic ideals. I own some pre-Columbian artifacts which help me in my art by giving me some inspiration when I'm having painter's block. Tell me more about what inspires you. It's interesting to see what inspires those who aim to inspire others. My heritage as a Mexican led me to focus a lot on Mexican culture and history. So I guess you could say it was nationalism and my strong belief in communism, which I explained previously. Very interesting. Jacques, what inspired you in your paintings?
I was really into the Enlightenment. I thought that the ideals of the Enlightenment could help spread my message in my paintings. Ideals of the artists in the Enlightenment, like Antoine Watteau and Jean-Antoine Audun. Also, I was a member of the National Assembly, giving me influence to keep the French Revolution running.
Since you brought up the National Assembly, were there any political parties that backed you and your art?
The Committee of Public Safety backed my art pretty well since I was part of the National Assembly. They were trying to keep order during the revolution. This led them to believing that I could help spread their ideals, which I did. They believed that my art could help keep them together, kind of like how Diego Rivera's murals helped to keep post-Mexican Revolution.
Okay, so Diego, were there any political parties that backed your artwork? The new government backed it while I was commissioned to do murals for them. The Mexican Communist Party backed my work as well, since I was part of it. Kind of similar to how Jacques was talking about when he was backed by the Committee of Public Safety. What a great coincidence. Jacques, what social issues did you express in your artwork? I'm sure there were plenty during the revolution.
The main issue that was present in my art was unity. This revolution would not work if we didn't put our heads together and unify. In the lictors bring Brutus the bodies of his sons, I showed that Brutus had to live with the fact that he had killed his sons to keep unity in his people when fighting.
Diego, did you have any social issues in your murals? I included a lot on the working class in plenty of my murals. The social issue related to this would be hardships of everyday life. Since the revolution had just occurred, times were tough for us Mexicans. We had just gained our independence and we were working hard to figure out how we're supposed to be running our own nation. Wow, both the revolutions sounded really tough. Diego, let's talk murals. How did your mural contribute to the Mexican Revolution? I used Mexican history and culture to get the citizens of Mexico a feeling of nationalism. The murals were available to all, therefore everyone around was able to get this feeling. With all this nationalism, we stuck together as a whole, as a nation. We desperately needed to stick together. As I said before, we had just been in a revolution.
So Diego and I were both artists of revolution.
Amazing. One man unified and gave a feeling of nationalism to a new nation, while another helped further the development of his nation. You two are quite the characters. Sadly, I'm sorry to tell you that that's all the time we have for tonight. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Jacques Louis David and Diego Rivera, everyone. And that is good night from Channel 8 News.